Hello everyone. One of my viewers asked me to do some impact tests with this battle axe that I made. Okay, so I did a video on it yesterday. Basically, I built this out of some material that I had left over from a pole axe that I had built. So I kind of used the same design where you've got langets riveted onto the shaft, and then the axe head goes in here, and then you've got what would be a top spike. Obviously there's no spike here, but basically this piece comes down, holds everything together. Today I did also add an end cap. I was looking at it yesterday and it just kind of looked a little bit naked without an end cap over here, a little incomplete. So I think that's really useful to have there. Makes it really good hitting surface. Okay. Also, it kind of does act a little bit like a pummel, right? So it does. I mean, obviously the axe is going to be top heavy, but that does give it a little bit of a counterweight. Okay. So I've already done a whole bunch of testing today. You know, just impacting it. So you can see how it's beating that barrel in over there, and I mean, there is absolutely no movement on this thing. This thing is tight. I mean, this is super tight. So this came together really well. We're gonna also try and we're gonna cut into some wood and stuff like that. Now, obviously, this doesn't have as much mass up here as a wood chopping axe. Okay, so obviously this is going to chop wood a lot better. So even on the impact, you can see how that's just I mean, without me even like really swinging into it, just by letting this thing fall. I mean, it's doing a lot more work on that barrel over there. Okay, but the problem with an axe like this is for fighting. Like if I, basically I have to roll this around my head to get to one side to the other, right? I got to do a lot more, rotational cuts, in order to move this thing because there's just so much weight on the end. Versus like this, I can basically turn this right in front of my face here, which means that I have defense, right? So this is now defensive because I'm turning this over right in front of my face. So while I'm turning this like this part here, the langets basically are protecting me. Now the cool thing about the langets is they're each 1/8 of an inch on each side, so that's like a 1/4 inch of steel in total. So this is almost like a great sword here, right? So with this, like even if you're hitting, with this, I mean this is, I mean there's probably more steel here than there is on the edge up here. Okay, so if you're hitting a shield, right? If you picture coming over the top, and hitting a shield rim, okay, that's the area that's gonna make the impact. And even if you're going for, let's say, a head and you miss, I mean, like I said, you're hitting with a lot of steel over here. So this is great for blocking. This is great for hitting. So this axe is not designed for wood cutting. This axe is designed for combat. Okay, this is a fighting axe. And it's designed for speed. Okay, this is I mean, that's the difference between a fighting axe and something like this. Now, I talked about yesterday. With most axes, they usually have they use the eye design, right, where they have a hole in the axe. The wood comes up, and this is the problem that I end up with. I've got probably at least 10, maybe 15 axes and hammers that have separated like this. Now, a lot of it probably has to do with abuse, misuse, neglect. As you can see from the back side here, I have basically, put this down and use this to hammer and wedge and do stuff like that. So this has received a lot of abuse to get to this level. It probably also got wet at some point, right? Because wood and water don't go together very well. It tends to swell up. You get into all sorts of problems. The good thing about this design, okay, I mean, first of all, like, there's rivets that go through here. I mean, even if I was to like burn out this wood, the rivets would basically still hold this structure from here to here, okay? And the way these steel rivets work is when I hammer them, they not only mushroom on the outside, but they also mushroom on the inside. So these two pieces, even if the wood was to, let's say I put this in the furnace and burnt this wood out, these two pieces could not collapse because the rivets have mushroom on the inside of the steel, and it would hold it solidly in place. Okay, so you know I've like when I put this together, like I said, I was basically working with leftover parts, some leftover material, and I've come to really like this thing, man. Especially now with the end cap over here. And like I said, that is a solid hitting surface. Yeah, I really like this thing, man. And I love this design. So with this type of a design, you're not gonna have problems that I've had here. Like I said, a lot of it having to do with abuse, misuse, neglect, that kind of stuff. I think that this design would stand up a lot better to abuse, misuse, neglect, etc. And there is like absolutely no movement here. This thing is like solid. Anyway, let's go and hit a bunch of things. Take the camera off the tripod. Take you around. We'll hit a bunch of things with this axe. Oh, look, I found a pile of wood. Let's hit the wood. So it's doing a really good job of like smashing, basically breaking the wood. Now this doesn't have a razor edge on it, right? I did because again, this is not meant for cutting. This is meant for chopping. This is meant to, particularly hit not realistically not hit wood. It's meant to hit people in armor. Okay, either mail or plate. And the thing with the plate armor is the thickness is probably about the same as that barrel I was hitting earlier. So this is, hitting those barrels is probably the best or one of the best tests that you can do for this. Okay, so this is specifically not meant to chop wood, but what the hell? I mean, it's still fun to chop wood. Let's do. I mean, it's definitely eating that wood up. I mean, there's no question about it. This thing will chop wood, and again, there's absolutely no movement on that head. This design here, the way this thing locked together is really, really, really good. Let's go find a different target. All right, so I got a tree over here that's dead, but hasn't been dead for too long, so it's not gonna just, just like it's still got some juice in it. Those are the marks where I was hitting it earlier. And the hardest hits are the ones that go in with the corner, right? Because when it hits flat, like these guys here, that doesn't quite get the best impacts that you're gonna get is when you're hitting with the corner, even with that corner or that corner. See how that really digs in there? Okay, see how it really sticks in there when you hit with that corner. Yeah, so we really don't want this sticking into stuff because you can see how when it sticks in how hard I got to work to yank it out. So ideally we don't. That's why again I wouldn't put a super sharp edge on this thing, right? Because I don't want it sticking into stuff. I want it basically just hitting and smashing. So yeah, this turned out excellent, man. I really like it. And this is an excellent axe design. Let's go back up to the camera. So yeah, I've been chopping at stuff. There is like, I mean, I love this style where the strap goes over the top and the rivets down like this. This is a super solid design. And like I said, this, even if I would have like put this in the furnace and completely burn away this wood, right? So all the wood would disappear. These langets here, I would still be able to hold on to these and probably chop because of the way they swell up when you hammer them. So even after a fire, I would still have an axe. But yeah, this has that speed of a fighting axe. Anyway, drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to y'all soon.